Hey, gosh, it's been a while. Welcome back to Chats with A&A, all the things you wish you could say. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Andrea.
So, it's been a month
It has been a month. It was a long month.
since we have done this, so feel a little out of practice.
A little bit. It's
Just a little
all
bit.
good.
It's fine.
But
It's fine.
hey, you're out of the hospital.
Yes, I am. I am here in my home, which is fantastic. Um, let's see. I got released the 13th of last month. So I've been home for almost a month.
Ooh.
Yeah. Got sent home in a wheelchair. And the only reason I was sent home at that point is because insurance wasn't going to pay anymore. Yeah. So they were like, okay, let's get you home. And I'm like, okay.
No, I feel like insurance should not dictate healing processes.
Right.
I'm just saying, they can't tell
I,
your body how fast to heal.
right. It's not, it's like, ooh, magic insurance. You're going to heal faster now.
I mean, that would be great if it did, because
Right.
abracadabra.
Uh, So true. But unfortunately, life does not work that way. So,
That is true.
yes. So, yeah, it's been an interesting journey being at home. Um, I just it's emotional. And I mean, I was already dealing with a lot of emotional stuff like while I was in the hospital and everything. And then I now have to deal with all of that emotional stuff here at my house. And I feel sometimes like extremely isolated, because I can't go anywhere. I can't drive. Um, like I'm not actually like physically able to like walk to the mailbox and back to get my mail. Like it has definitely been a physically and emotionally challenging month. Um, because like even though I have people that visit and all of that kind of stuff, like you still when you live alone, you still feel like you are alone, even though there's people that come visit and everything, but you're still by yourself most of the time.
True.
And I just feel like blah, done, done. And that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about today is emotional burnout.
It's a real thing.
It's a huge real thing. And I think a lot of people don't acknowledge it because I don't know, like, do you think it's because maybe they feel like admitting that they're emotionally burnt out is like a sign of weakness or something?
That could be. And I also don't know if they recognize it immediately because it's hard to detect if you are not emotionally in tune with yourself. It takes a minute of self-reflection to go, what the heck is going on? And then it's like, oh, yeah, hindsight's 2020. I am burned out from dealing with all the emotions and feeling all the feels.
Yeah.
But
Um,
I feel the feels oftentimes it is as society thinks it is, not as we think it is, but as society thinks it is, as a sign of weakness.
right. And it's not. I think that to like being able to feel the feelings and identify the feelings is a sign of strength. Um, because feeling those feelings is it's hard.
It's hard.
It's not easy to just to like feel the feelings and move through them. Like it's so much easier to like stuff them down and not deal with them.
Right.
But to like feel them and let them flow through your body and out is so much more difficult.
Yeah, to send them on their merry way and be like, I'm so happy you came. We felt. We're free.
I'm done
You're
with
free
you
to the
now,
wild.
right? I'm sending you out to pasture now.
Don't come
Don't
back.
come back. I'm okay without you. Totally, totally. And I think like society at large will praise those who don't feel the feelings. You
Because
know, the
they're
ones that like
resilient.
hold strong and they're, yeah, like they're resilient and
They're strong.
strong and can face all the things and they can do hard things and be like, yeah, but just because you feel something and have emotions about it and embrace those emotions and feel those things and allow yourself to work through them does not make you weak. You can still be strong, do the hard things, but still feel all of the emotions that go along with it.
I agree. As long as you don't become the feelings,
Right,
you can't let them overpower you to the point of you are completely stuck. You
right,
have to progressively move through them. You have to progressively feel them and send them away.
right. And
It's
I
a
think
never-ending cycle.
that is true because we don't ever stop feeling. It's like emotions and feelings are an everyday occurrence. They
This
never
reminds me of
stop.
a few shows that have been recently produced, like Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That one was definitely like a
I know, right?
mhm.
Where was that when I was growing up? It was not
Right?
around.
Like I was no, that was not around. That was not
That would have been
around.
so helpful.
Yes.
But then I also wonder if the the boomer generation will get it, accept it, as
Uh,
they took it.
maybe. I don't know.
I've seen it.
Yours haven't?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I know my mom has, and she's part of that generation.
I know.
Does
But,
she
but
completely
like,
get it? I have no
would
idea.
they have acknowledged it and been like, oh, there's a lot of emotions going on in my child. What can we do to help this child feel these emotions so that way they can grow up in a healthier way?
I think only if they themselves were cognizant of their own emotions.
Possibly.
If
But
if they were emotionally aware while they were raising their kids, our generation.
then I also am like going, I don't think that they would have because they would have need to have healed from past traumatic experiences that they don't even know existed.
The generational trauma is real.
It is real. It is real. As a cycle breaker of generational trauma, it is so real.
So real. And you just like, how do I explain it? Like, you want to help them, like, heal. because you're like, oh my gosh, because like at least for like myself and you, we have done a lot of work to be able to recognize our feelings, feel them, acknowledge them, give them the respect they deserve, and try to release them. Uh, which, like you said, is like an ongoing cycle that does not stop. It's like laundry. It's always there. No matter how many times you do laundry, there's still another load to do. Um, so but we also like, at least for yourself and me, we see it in others where it's lacking, and we want to help, and we want to what we want them to like have the desire to heal like we do, but they don't always.
No, no.
And sometimes it's not just that generation, sometimes it's
And
some in our own generation who
sometimes it's lower than us. Yeah, the things you actually see in other people.
yes.
But dealing with the emotional burnout was so bad this last month.
Tell me about it. What happened?
So
Like,
bad.
what
Um,
led to the burnout?
so it was 3 birthdays in a week after Christmas, on top of um, working nonstop, on top of the money that was supposed to be paid in December that was not paid until the middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, what?
A
Wait.
huge source of stress.
Yeah, so there was all of this and it like combusted. Um, and it was really, really hard. Like, and I'm trying really hard not to downplay this, but like as an Aquarius, I detach from emotions very easily. So there's a reason. There's a reason behind the insanity. And welcome to my realm of the age
Thought
of
process.
Aquarius. So when you're in chaos, I thrive. I thrive in chaos. So I do very well with it. Um, but having a child turn the age my son turned when he died was like a gut punch. It was like, oh, wait, just breathe through this. Just breathe through this. And not like I'm not, it's not him, it's her. It's same thing's not gonna happen. Like, no comparison. We're gonna celebrate her on her birthday. And she knew what was going on because as an Aquarius, you get those things. Um, and she also felt it. And so she was trying really hard to make it, yay, celebrate, celebrate, happy, happy, happy. And I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. So we're both like trying so hard on top of dealing with the pressures at work. And they had mounted because her birthday happened to be testing week. So I was testing hundreds of people. And I'm like, I am, I don't have a birthday, like I had nothing for you, babe. She made her own cake. I was so grateful. But at the same time, it was just like Mother of the Year.
Can't take that on though. Like, I know it's probably so easy for a parent to do that. I mean, like, I wouldn't know from like personal experience because I don't have children, but like you have to do what you have to do. I mean, like, it's not, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. And you're not going to be able to be and do everything, especially when you're a single parent.
Right. But you try. As a single parent, you try. You try to be the one for everything, for everybody, just to make sure like nobody's lacking, nobody's needing, nobody's like, holy crap, let's juggle all the roles and responsibilities. And that's so, so incredibly hard. Like,
I would say that like if you might agree with me that because you're working so hard to be everything for everyone, you forget about yourself. And
oh,
sometimes your own self-care, getting enough sleep, not worrying, gets
right,
pushed
right.
away
And
because you don't deem it as important as taking care of your children and your job responsibilities and like cleaning the house and all the different things.
well, and I was actually talking to I don't remember who I was talking to. Talked to a few people. Like,
Just a
I don't
couple.
remember. But I was talking about that. I'm like, okay, so no, I do get up and work out, take care of me, but do I leave my house? No, still in my house. Like, did I leave? No, did not leave. Did I leave yesterday?
No.
No.
No, you didn't. You told
Mentally
me.
trying to recover from the hell of a week you have. You're like trying to mentally like, oh, hold it together. Hold it together. Hold it together. I got this. I got this. But then it was just like, okay, what do I do for me? How do I replenish me?
You have to refill your own cup before you can fill other people's.
Right. That's what everybody says. But in reality, does that actually happen?
No.
No.
A lot of us pour from an empty cup.
Right. So I'm like,
We're
oh,
like, here's some air. Got some air for you
right.
because I'm all out of
A
liquids.
little bit.
The
Shake
last,
it.
it's like in the desert, dripping the canteen, the last little drip,
The drips and the drips.
the ending drip.
Did you feel that? It was air. Just inhale. But no, so I work out for me, which is great. I would love to go to the gym, but
Mm-hmm.
right now I cannot. Right now I need to focus on a few other things that are more important, like prioritized. I have prioritized. There is spaghetti, but it's prioritized spaghetti. And
Spoke about it. I was like, I'm imagining then again, like the ball of wires and the wads of noodle. I get it. I
one
get it.
too. And I was like, I was talking to Dylan, and I'm like, when people are like, when you go to bed, have this be your last thought. I'm like, 99.9% of the time, there is no thought. There is no thought. He goes, you're in the nothing box. I go, I don't have any boxes. It's all spaghetti. And he goes,
We don't have nothing
spaghetti.
boxes.
Yes, you can't have spaghetti as nothing. I go, honey, that noodle goes into nothing and then comes out, and there's something, and then they go back to nothing. And he's just like, this is so weird. And I'm
He
like, you
just
would
doesn't get
understand.
it because he has boxes. He's got boxes. You've got like a bowl of spaghetti, apparently.
I'm a bull spaghetti because
And
one
then,
thought leads to another thought, leads to another thought, leads to another thought, leads to nothing. Like,
and I would say that mine most of the time is like overcooked tri-colored rotini in Alfredo sauce. Because it's like, I've got little snippets and they're different, but the sauce brings them all together and connects everything. And sometimes there's
everything's connected. Everything's connected. It's all touching.
and all of it. So my Alfredo sauce is the emotions
Ooh.
because that's what binds everything together in my brain is emotion. And then you add in chicken, right? Because mine's chicken Alfredo, right? And the chicken is the logic.
How big are the pieces of chicken?
Oh, they're really little because I choke on big pieces. I don't do big pieces. There's lots of little bits of logic. It's everywhere because you want to have a little bit of logic in every bite.
True.
Okay. Like,
That's
I
true.
don't want to be like just logical in this little chunk over here and then this chunk over here. Like, I want it everywhere. Little bits. It's the same when I make hamburger. I don't do big chunks. It's like little bits. I want a bite of hamburger in every bite of my hamburger helper. Like, okay, like I know it's like a weird analogy, but it works for me.
It works for me. And you
So,
guys can come up with your own analogies. It's all good.
so
I
true.
would
Like,
love
come
to
up
hear
with
your
your
guys'
own thing.
analogies.
Apparently, you and I are pasta people with our analogies.
Well, that's because it's connected. I don't know how to connect chicken because that's normally what I have is chicken. I rarely have pasta. When I do, it's like ramen. So,
Okay, so if that's not really like your jive, your
but I've got to
vibe.
connect it. It's all connected.
So I was gonna suggest that your brain is like a Christmas tree with the lights all the way around through, and they're like crossing each other. Some of the little bulbs are out. Okay. Christmas tree, lights, everything's
I like
connected.
that analogy,
Little bulbs are
actually.
out. Okay. And the glue, the logic is your ornaments
That's a good analogy.
that are the emotions that connect everything.
It's an analogy,
It's
but not.
definitely one that I would relate to you more than pasta because you hardly ever eat pasta. Whereas, like, I, as a diabetic, shouldn't eat pasta, but eat it way more often than I should because I love it.
Now I'm also like thinking of if there's any other analogies because now we're on that.
I know.
So
This is one of those squirrel moments, but I think it was a valid squirrel moment.
I think it's still a scroll moment. So now I'm thinking ocean. Ocean connects everything.
So your brain is the world.
No, it's an ocean. And the fish that thrive by our thoughts that I just watch. You know where they're going sometimes. Can I catch them? Maybe on a rainbow day.
That is funny.
Then there's the sand, the
Mm-hmm.
coral, mammals. Like there's a lot of stuff got going on in the ocean.
Very true.
There's a lot of stuff got going on in this head.
So then is the water of the ocean the glue, the emotions that connects all of these little fish in the coral and the
Oh my
sand?
gosh, I think you're right. Because you know what? I walk the I walk no, I have the wave griefs hit. The grief
The grief
waves.
waves.
The grief waves. And
It
I
comes in waves.
mm-hmm. And every now and then they literally like drown me.
It sometimes it's high tide.
So it really is.
And
And you're just
that
like,
that
what?
undertow can be like whoosh,
I suck you out. Okay.
out
And
into
then
the
it is like you are to feel these emotions. Downpour.
right. It's like you're sucked into the sea of emotion and you're lost there for a minute.
But then you see the sunshine above and you're like, oh, there's
You
sun.
see the sun and somebody throws you a ring. That could be, your cousin
They pull you on the cruise
that
ship. You're
calls
like,
you and
what?
says, come on to my raft.
We will save you.
I will save you. Come on. And like that's important to like have those people in your life that will throw you the ring. They're gonna throw you the ring. And in my analogy with my pasta, okay, the saving part is being taken out of the oven because I do baked pastas. Okay. So when I do it with rotini, it's a baked chicken alfredo.
There you go.
Okay. So you have like let's break it down here. Okay. You've got the little noodles and they're tricolored, so there's a lot of different things going on, right? Okay. And then you have, I always put vegetables in because then it makes it semi healthy, right? However, you can get your veggies in, you go for it. So you got like your mixed vegetables, and those are like the other things that are, the positive things that you're trying to put in. Okay. And then you have the chicken, you have your logic, right? And then you have your sauce, the emotions that cover everything and glue it all together. Then you have the little things that happen in life that can enrich it. And that would be your layer of cheese that's on the top. And then your breadcrumbs. Okay. And then you get thrown in the fire. Life throws you in the fire, throws you in the oven, right? And you get cooked and cooked and sometimes you get burnt. Sometimes someone hears the dinger go off and comes and takes you out of the heat and helps you cool. And then you're able to enjoy those things that were added on top and make the most of the things that are inside of you. That was a lot of analogy, but I feel like it works.
I loved it. It was great. I don't know how to cook that good, so
I don't know. I'm a very, very visual person, but I'm also really good at explaining things in words.
you are very good at that.
I have been told that. And apparently, I have the ability to make people hungry just by the way that I talk about food.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does that
Like,
work for you? Like when you talk about food, do you get hungry?
no,
Oh,
but apparently, it makes everybody else.
it it didn't make me hungry, but
Well, I wasn't talking about food. You were seeing my analogy. Okay. So that's different. I wasn't trying to entice you into being hungry.
oh, that's good because I got my water bottle here.
Same. Hydrate, don't hydrate, by the way.
Oh
So
yeah.
things
And
that
then
happened during January.
yeah, and then at the end of the month of January, I got my lab results back. They were not
Mhm.
great. They were not good. So there was a lot of stuff that I need more information on. Water happens to be one of them.
And it's hard sometimes when we get results, especially when there's so many results that are so can be construed as negative results, that we get stuck in our own head about like worst case scenarios. Like, oh my gosh, they put me into renal failure. Like that was me. And I'm like, no, 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 it wasn't actual renal failure. It was just really close to renal failure, so much that they had to emergency put fluids in me. Um, but that's
Don't Google those. Just don't do it because Google always gives you
Dr.
the worst one.
Google freaks you out. And Dr. WebMD is worse because
True.
they go into more detail.
True, true.
So if you ever have like lab results or something that are really concerning, consult your doctor and talk to them about it. But if they are giving you um really like this is bad and this is bad and that causes cancer and this is blah, blah, seek another opinion. All right, because it ain't that tragic. And a lot of things, everything in this world is a carcinogen.
Well,
It
and
can all cause cancer.
there's
All right.
a lot of misconceptions out there.
Yeah. And I would like to point out, and this is just me, and this is from yours in my conversation last night. You cannot be given diabetes. Diabetes is a genetic condition. Both type 1 and type 2 is genetic. Now, I don't know if any of you out there in the world who watch our podcast know the difference between type 1 and type 2. So I will quickly play this out for you. Type 1, the pancreas don't work. All right? It doesn't produce insulin. And it's usually diagnosed when you're a child. Okay? Most of them are diagnosed before the age of 6. There are some who are diagnosed as like babies.
Well, and
And
then
some
some aren't even diagnosed. And then they end up with tragedy.
mhm.
And then
Like
they're like, where did that come from?
yeah. So sometimes it can be like not diagnosed until later, like they're 10 or 12 or something
Mhm.
like that. And they already have eye problems and kidney problems. And, diabetes just tears apart your system. So that's type 1, does not make insulin. Type 2 is what I have. And I am an insulin dependent type 2 diabetic because my body genetically is resistant to my own insulin. So my pancreas still works. It's still shooting out insulin, but my cells don't recognize it. They're like, do not compute, do not compute. I am not letting you in the cell. No. Okay. So your cells are like a house, and insulin is the key to the door. Okay. And so my key doesn't fit the lock. So I have to have synthetic insulin, a synthetic key to open the lock to allow the sugar to go into the cell and be used. That is type 2. Now, some type 2, if you're diagnosed early enough, you can somewhat reverse it. Somewhat. And it depends on the severity of your resistance to your own insulin. It's an autoimmune disease. Like you are resistant to your own body. So you cannot it's not caused by like overeating sugar, because I know tons of people who eat a shiz ton of sugar and do not have diabetes. Yet that is the misconception. Like when you see like a plate of desserts, like that's diabetes on a plate. Not how it works. Just so you know.
Well,
All
that
right,
was
that's
a
I'm
good,
off. I'm
really
off
good
my
overview.
soapbox now.
And
It
I
just
I
it,
know
it
that my trainer was diagnosed with type 3 diabetes.
is not where it was damaged.
I'm not exactly sure
I've
because
read.
he didn't know about it
Yeah.
until he was like in the hospital. Like he
It's like a more recent discovery, this type 3 situation.
right.
And most of the time it's from my research, um, it's where the pancreas has was damaged in some way. And so it doesn't produce as much. Like it still is producing insulin, but it's not as much as it needs to be effective,
Right.
from what I remember. But
I
I'll have to
like
do
your
more research
soapbox.
and get back to you on that.
Right. That'll be next
Okay.
round.
Medical conditions 101.
Right? That's a good cover.
How to recognize your medical conditions.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That
So
would be
the
really
reason
long.
I get like on a soapbox when it comes to that is because, excuse me, my physical therapist and I have like my home health physical therapist and I have bonded over our mutual diabetes. Um, and both of us have like said to each other that we wouldn't wish diabetes on our worst enemy because it's so difficult to deal with. It's very simple, but it's difficult. Now, if you think about somebody who doesn't have diabetes, okay, not a worry, not a care in their life, they can just go to a restaurant, most people, okay, and just order whatever's on the menu. Like, I want that. I'm going to eat that. And not think about it. If you're a diabetic, you have to look at the menu, calculate how many carbs you have left for that meal, for that day, whatever it may be, and then see if any of the things on the menu can fit into that count. And if it doesn't, then you must adjust and be like, okay, this has too many carbs, so maybe I only eat half of it. Or, but no decision about what goes in your body is just, oh, it goes in. It's always has to be analyzed. So you have like 230 things that you have to make decisions about just with your diabetes. That doesn't include all of the other decisions that you have to make in a day. It's hard. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. But it's not the end of the world. It just makes the world harder. All
Makes
right, I'm
sense.
off my soapbox again. It's a fun little place, especially since I don't physically have to get up onto it. Because that would be difficult right now.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just smidge.
But you know what? As a recap,
Yes.
allow your emotions to be felt and acknowledged and let them go. Work your way through them. Don't hang on to them. Yes, it's not easy. It's not easy. And you're
No.
consistently going to have to do it.
It's like laundry.
And you know what? We'd love to hear your analogies.
Yes, if anybody has any other analogies, please put them in the comments because, like, I don't know. I think it's probably just like my relationship with food that I relate everything to food. So, I'm working on that. I'm in therapy. Don't worry. Like, I'm trying to mend that relationship because it's a struggle. So, also on the recap, feeling and experiencing your emotions is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you are not enough because you have emotions and that sometimes it makes life difficult. Life is hard, and guess what? Nobody gets out alive.
No way.
Mhm. So be who you are, live life for the joy, experience the pain, work through it, and grow. It won't be easy, and you'll need to have that little person that pulls you out of the oven. So find your person that pulls you out of the oven
Yep.
and help
Thanks for
them.
coming.
Thanks for being here. And
We'll
so
see you
we'll
in the
see you
next
next
one.
time. Bye.